11 weeks ago, a group of students whom you're about to meet walked into the lab without any preconceived notion about what they were going to do. We start this process and we give them a prompt, a challenge, and we'll introduce the challenges in a minute. And we give them 11 weeks. How would you solve it? What would you do to create a product related to the media to solve this particular problem we're throwing at you? What happens is we walk them through a framework that we really coin our abilities. Desirability, who's it for? Who wants it? Whose problem are you solving? It's about people. The second one is feasibility. Feasibility is, can what you are proposing actually be done? And the third one is viability. So you have a good idea that you can do, and you know who it's for, so how are you going to sustain it? You have to answer those three fundamental questions to actually have a decent product to move forward with. So we walk them through this. They go out, they talk to customers. They go out, they try to get real customers. They actually come back and take the feedback into play and iterate through that process over the 11 weeks. I think you'll be impressed with what they've come up with. So our next team is Team Legal Stats, and they were presented with a pretty interesting challenge, which was how do you make public records more valuable beyond just simple journalism. The notion behind this is there are lots of public records, lots of public data that's available, and in order for us as journalists to be able to continue the work that we do, we had to figure out ways to fund that. And so they were tasked with trying to figure out new value for public records. So in that case, I'm going to give you Team Legal Stats.
I'm Jonathan Gegler. I'm Macon Gamble.
I'm Madeline Hurley. And I'm Madison Mundy, and we are Legal Stats. Suppose today, on your way home from here, you get cited for going 42 in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. You just joined the 820,000 people who faced a legal violation in North Carolina in the last year. As the cop drives away and the dust settles, a million questions start to fill your head. Should I pay for this ticket? Do I need to hire a lawyer? Am I going to court? Ultimately, the question you want answered is, what are my chances? Legal Stats helps you answer these questions by providing you with statistics about people who have dealt with similar situations in the past. We take data from over 3.6 million cases collected by the North Carolina court system over the past 5 years. We compile this data in a way to help you navigate the legal system in order for you to make the most informed decisions possible. You're able to enter all relevant information about your case, and this creates a customized statistical report that details your chances of different outcomes. The report on screen was created using real statistics for a real customer, Jennifer, who contacted us a few days after she received a citation for going 42 in a 25-mile-per-hour zone. This was her first legal offense, and she was unsure about where to begin. Jennifer was able to enter her charge in the county in which it occurred, and she was able to find out that of those who hired a private attorney, 34% were able to achieve complete dismissal. In later versions of the product, Jennifer will even be able to search based on her age, race, gender, and even the exact street location where she received her citation. Jennifer can see how these numbers change and how they differ based on the type of representation that she chooses. If you were in Jennifer's shoes, wouldn't you want to know all of this too?
We've spoken with over 40 people during user testing of our initial prototypes. 93% of them said they would be willing to not only use, but pay for a Legal Stats customized report if they were facing an offense. 9 of those people were facing a real legal offense at the time and awaiting a court date, so we were able to generate for them a customized statistical report. Of the 6 who responded to our feedback survey, we received unanimously positive feedback. All of them said they would have been willing to pay for their customized report. We've also spoken with investigative journalists, public defenders, and even the Attorney General. All of them agree that public records in North Carolina are currently inaccessible, and it's difficult for the public to get anything useful out of them. Legal Stats takes the massive amount of public records and makes them available and useful to everyday citizens. There are 820,000 people in our target market. That's how many people face legal violations in North Carolina every year. It's 8.5% of the North Carolina population. But how are we going to reach these people? We've experimented so far with a few very small-scale marketing strategies. For example, a lot of social media. We've posted fact-based stories and sample statistical reports on our Facebook page and our blog. For example, we posted a sample report for PJ Hairston, who's currently facing a misdemeanor assault case in Durham County. That report, with a $5 Facebook promotion, was able to generate 1,900 impressions and 129 clicks in 24 hours. Based on these figures and our current engagement rate on our page, we think that with each $5 ad, we could generate up to 10 paid customers. We've also experimented with some small-scale real-world marketing, basically distributing flyers around downtown Chapel Hill, And out of the 50 flyers we distributed, we were contacted by 5 real customers facing legal violations who wanted a statistical report from us. This proves that real-world marketing can be effective for our product.
Based on these figures, we can expect to acquire about 650 users for about $400. However, this is less than 1/10% of our target market. So to achieve sustained success, we need to reach out to more customers by investing in consumer acquisition. Our startup costs are estimated at about $30,000, and that includes the development of a website as well as software that can handle all this data. But to make this money back, we're going to need to take advantage of LegalStat's high scalability, meaning that our costs will remain low as our revenues increase. If we invest about $60,000 in billboards, for example, we could reach over 5 million North Carolinians and acquire about 11,000 consumers. In our initial user testing, customers indicated they'd be willing to spend between $5 and $25 for a customized report. And based on this, we decided to price our reports at $9.99 each. Based on this model, if we can acquire 11,000 consumers at this price, we can earn about $110,000, covering our initial costs and giving us a cushion.
So we're going to use North Carolina as a test market, but we are very confident in being able to expand across the country. While every state contains public records, there are varying difficulties in getting them, but they do contain similar proportions of people facing legal violations. In Arkansas, for example, for a one-time fee of $1,000, we can get the exact same information that we have from North Carolina, and each year they have about 140,000 people facing legal violations. In more densely populated states like New York, California, or Florida, there's a huge potential for expansion, and oftentimes they have more advanced systems for record keeping. We're also creating a segment called the Legal Trends section. It will take any demographic of the information that we have and be able to compare the two, potentially exposing inconsistencies within our legal system. This could be an invaluable tool for investigative journalists. Currently, we are in talks with Mothers Against Drunk Driving, who are very interested in our product. They said they would potentially be willing to sponsor a billboard advertisement in an area with a high concentration of DUIs. But in the future, we are also thinking about potentially breaking down individual judges, police officers, or attorneys to compare them to each of their peers. This again would allow a user to make the most informed choice if he does end up hiring a private attorney. After exposing LegalStats to a large portion of our target market, we hope that LegalStats will be the go-to resource for first-time offenders. LegalStats will be there to answer the fundamental question of, what are my chances? Thank you, and we'll take any questions at this time.